Hello everybody to this weekly ESPL series, of course hosted by none other than myself, Briefcase, along with the lovely Mito.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
So, we have finally gotten into our final game, or at least one of our finals games this time around, and of course, I will repeat every once in a while. The weekly series, guys, $100 on the line every single Sunday. It's going to be a $5,000 prize pool at the very least main event come March. And combo all that with all the ticket revenue that's going to get flooded in there, it should hopefully become quite substantial, that prize pool. And I think 10% of all of it's going to be going to UNICEF or something, some charity at the very least. So ESPL doing not too badly as far as I'm concerned on that excuse me, on that route. So sorry, it's getting a few messages and scattering brain, but nonetheless, Mito, let's get into the draft.
Alright, so right away, Wild Witch Doctors. They started out the same way they did the previous game, banned out the Viper as well as Corvulus, and picked up the Visage as their first pick. And Division Gaming, they're taking the time to think out the two heroes they want. Slug's still available in the pool. So is the popular Venomancer in our tournament. Wow, and they decide to start out the picks with Enchantress and Crystal Maiden. That's something rather unusual, I suppose. I don't see that many Enchantress first picks, apart from, say, teams like... Well, there is a couple that I like the first pick Enchantress, but I've only seen it mostly on Alliance, and a bit of Sigma, and yeah, Navi, rarely. But yeah, they're very... This must be a hero they're extremely confident with, to actually want to pick that hero first.
Oh yeah, I would suspect so, and I was talking to, I think it was Division Game Club, not like just in the lobby, and they're mentioning maybe a Mito coming, or a Meepo coming out. So sorry, getting your name mixed up there, but a Clockwork now being picked up by Wild Witch Doctors, and they have been just incredibly quick at knowing exactly who they want to pick up. In every single game I think we've seen them play today, we've seen that Visage making an appearance, usually one of the first two picks, and now banning out Death Prophet, banning out excuse me, banning out your little green skull friend there. And so it looks like they're really trying to limit the amount of push available to Division Game Club, seeing as how they already have an Enchantress on the field.
Oh yeah, well, they've already removed two really good pushers, and now even Slug is gone, so Division's Gaming, the strat still isn't revealed just of now, but yeah, it does seem like it's going to be some form of push strat, perhaps. Or they might even turn it around and grab, say, Storm and Nikes and go for Lifestealer Bombs, with some nice pushing coming out of Enchantress. They still have plenty of options as of now. Whereas Visage Clockwork, those are two standard picks, I suppose. They're both very strong at what they're doing. Clockwork is has always been one of the best offlaners. Apart from the fact that he can't jungle efficiently. Yes, I know there are videos that show how to jungle with Clockwork, but I just haven't seen it done in a high level game.
Oh yeah, and then now a Doom of all things being picked up by Division Game Club. So do you think that this is going to be sort of a greedy pickup where Enchantress provides Doom the space in the jungle? I mean, it's going to have to be a laning Doom, right, with Enchantress going in there.
You never know. We might see some next level style. Laning Enchantress. Hurrah.
Right? That's always worked in the past. I don't think that has ever gone badly.
I don't know. Why doesn't anyone ever consider Enchantress as a tri-lane carry? I know it doesn't sound right. It sounds stupid, but it does have really strong carry potentials, man. Those impetus does so much. And I mean, the Untouchable just makes it so hard to attack him, right? So if he gets tanky, he gets items, Aghanim's Heart, Shivas, whatnot, he will be able to tank so much for the team as well.
And now Shadow being picked up And you think this Mirana pickup was essentially to stop the fact that Shadow Demon Mirana, of course, is such a strong dual lane? Or do you think it was just picked up because obviously Mirana fits this lineup as well?
I think it's a mixture of both. It works very well with their lineup because none of the heroes give away anything. You don't know how or where those Mirana and Doom are gonna be. With the last pick, it might reveal, but as of now, Mirana is also great against Shadow Demon. I mean, just taking that option away, as well as like if Clockwork ever hooks you, you can always leap away. So it deals nicely with what Team Wild Witch Doctors want. So yeah, I love the pickup.
Oh yeah, and now Queen of Pain showing her pretty face for Wild Witch Doctors. Still no Storm or anything along those lines, instead just going for that Queen of Pain, realizing that they probably need at least a little bit more AoE in their lineup. Shadow Demon not providing that too much. Clockwork can sow a lot of dissent around in a team fight, but you just, I mean, their lineup doesn't look like they have too much damage at the moment. Soul Assumption's always there, but they really do need a way to actually get some souls out as well.
Oh, on the contrary, I think their lineup already has really good damage. I mean, Queen of Pain, one of the best nukers in the early game phase of Dota. Clockwork, another really potent hero. And if you don't have enough damage, you always have Shadow Demon to use the Soul Catcher and amplify the output. Yeah.
Well, that is true, but I mean, minus Queen of Pain from that, would you think you'd be saying the same thing with just Shadow Demon, Clockwork, Visage?
Radiant team ban.
Huh? Could they take
Clockwork,
a
Shadow
Doom?
Demon, Visage.
Easy? Could they take a Doom?
Yeah, probably. But that means you have to put your carry in the off lane.
So, I mean, now Lifestealer being banned out by Division, obviously. Not sure exactly who Wild Witch Doctors are going to be going for themselves, but I mean, what do you think both of these teams are going to be picking up right now? I mean, I want to look and think about the lockdown. Division Game Club only really has, you know, I mean, Doom, I suppose you could consider a form of crowd control, but Crystal Maiden, really the only reliable one. Witch Doctors having a bit more, of course. Clockwork, Visage Birds, and Shadow Demon providing quite a bit of that, but I mean, not seeing a lot of huge amount of stuns coming out just in general in this tournament right now.
Yeah, Lockdown isn't valued so much as of now, I suppose. You don't see those heroes with the big crown control being played as often, like Magnetar, Tidehunter, Enigma. These heroes have virtually vanished. I think a hero that would work pretty well with Team Wild Witch Doctors would be a carry hero with a stun. So I'm thinking along the lines of something like Sven even, but it doesn't seem to suit their style. Whereas Naga Siren has not been banned, so are we gonna potentially see another Naga Siren carry?
I mean, could be, and it worked out for them. Or which team was that did that? A PA, or PL, my bad. PL now being picked up.
L.
It's kind of like a Naga Siren. Huh? It's got illusions.
Yeah.
It's
Massive illusions.
Pretty samey, and I actually quite like PL. I mean, if he gets enough illusions going on, the only thing that can really deal with him is a Crystal Maiden ult and a Timbersaw. They don't have a lot of AoE coming out of Division Game Club. Timbersaw, though, I mean, he should be able to clean those up pretty nicely. But, you know, in this little early lull, of course, let's get into actually who's playing who, shall we? For DGC, it looks like we're going to have Shad playing the Mirana, Phoenix as the Crystal Maiden, Aleg going to be this Doom, looks like Perez Dota going to be the Enchantress, and Crystal Cross playing this Timbersaw. And my man Mito, would you like to take Team WwD? Mito? Are you there? Did you die? I feel like Mito's dead, everybody. So sorry about that. But let's get into who's playing on Wild Witch Doctors. It looks like IX Mike gonna be playing this Clockwork, W gonna be playing the Shadow Demon, XCOM as the Visage, Ush as this PL as the carry, just like he's been in every other game, and then Sna or SNA gonna be this Queen of Pain. Mito, are you there, buddy?
Yep, I'm back.
Where'd you go?
My Dota 2 crashed again.
Oh no, what a shame. Well, nonetheless, all you did was miss out on naming players, and I took over for you. Everything worked out really nicely.
Oh, thank you so much. And just want to say though, I don't know if you mentioned this, but latest portion of the game where Team WwD starts pushing, they can always use the disrupt on the Phantom Lancer, and then you get 2 additional illusions to siege towers.
Oh, that is true, and I mean, always nice to have that possibility with those illusions, and you can basically just spawn a whole separate Phantom Lancer army, because I think that those illusions, well, obviously they'll have the ability to juxtapose, ability to just make their own, and because Shadow Demon controls them, I believe that they can just make an entire army, and the max illusions is multiplied there, basically.
Wow, and I think I'm in love. This Crystal Maiden set is gorgeous.
Yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
wow, so... Okay, so it is gonna be a mid-solo Doom. He's just gonna go and grab a creep first and come back to his lane.
Down bot, it looks like IX Mike actually in a little bit of trouble against Crystal Cross. The cogs catching him in, but not bouncing him around whatsoever, and it is actually going to be, like you said, a mid-solo Doom against SNA. Looks like we're having a little bit of lag issues right now, not the end of the world. And Para's Dota, hanging out in the jungle, of course, has a clapping tomato, so he's going to be doing fine for that farm. Ooh, excuse me. But I mean, what do you think of these lanes right now? Clockwork and Timbersaw, that's pretty even. Usually, in my eyes, if Clockwork gets some nice cogs and Timbersaw happens to, you know, have a little bit of unfortunate timing or what have you, Clockwork can definitely find a kill. But Timbersaw, it's almost the exact same. So it's just kind of a dance between the two on the bot lane. How do you think this mid is going to shake out, though?
Mid, Queen of Pain will definitely have the upper hand until Doom hits about level 6. Then Queen of Pain will be forced to play defensively, or just simply rotate off the lane, or have your supports ready to TP. Either one of those options work. And yeah, Doom, like it feels like Doom has a very narrow window of opportunity to kill the Queen of Pain. Would be nice though if you get a DD rune, Invis rune, one of those, to be able to get the kill, or even a haste. Haste works fine as well. But yeah, bottom, I feel it depends on how many cogs the Clockwork manages to land to completely burn out the Timbersaw's mana. Because if he can do that right, and then he has high enough levels of battery assault, he might just be able to kill the Timbersaw. But at the same time, the reactive armor. So I guess what you do is you burn the mana, and then just use the rocket barrage. I mean the battery assault. That's right.
There you go.
Try and nuke down. Oh. But it's taking heaps of damage from the Whirling Death.
Oh yeah, not only that, I mean, every single one of his cogs, it's never actually bouncing Crystal Cross, it's always bringing him into it, so not exactly happening how you normally want that to as a Clockwork, and actually taking just a huge amount of damage from that Whirling Death, like you mentioned. However, on this top lane, I mean, little Mirana over here, probably going to be doing A-OK for herself. It looks like Crystal Maiden just trying to jungle and help this Enchantress jungle as well as much as possible, and Ush really doesn't have too much to fear when it comes to being up top. He's got his Stout Shield, he's got his Quelling Blade, he's going to be doing fine there.
Yeah, I love how Team WWD, how they position themselves. If you look, the SD, right, he's always in range, so if the smoke end does come from DGC, SD will be able to spot it out, and if he does fall, I mean, it's always great that you die instead of your carry, so I love the way they're utilizing the SD. He's essentially a moving ward at this stage, and he can always do a wraparound and try to make it go on Shad, if they can force out a leap.
And it looks like that's what they're trying to do, but looks like he has been scouted out by this little ranged creep, and now he's just going to be running back. That's, of course, not going to work, but we do actually have a smoke coming out from Phoenix and Perez, and Hellbear Smasher, not exactly who you want, and so unfortunate that his troll has just melted. Not sure exactly what they're planning. A Grave Chill basically counters that slow from the Enchantress. XCOM needs to be a little bit careful here. Perez taking a couple of shots now. Phoenix now a little bit too far forward, but they just don't seem to really have the damage, and I should eat my own words. XCOM throwing out that big soul assumption. You can obviously never forget that Visage has that cannon under his wing.
Yeah, wow, like I think Visage is just so great as a hero. Um, for me, it's very hard to not ban out that hero. But I think Team WwD, they've been quite lucky this tournament as well, always having the first pick to grab the hero that they really love. I don't know, personally for me right now, this patch, it just feels like I I feel first pick has so much advantage over second pick. Yeah.
I mean, it could be hard to say, obviously, but now in the mid, Doom, I mean, he's picked up a Centaur, actually, interestingly enough, just trying to get a little bit of extra damage on SNA, and looks like SNA is indeed bottle crowing, doing it as efficiently as possible. Alex seems to be doing, actually not getting a, no, never mind, he does have a bottle. Let me eat my own words once again, just gotta look at those items. And, but he's not bottle crowing, he doesn't seem to be needing to do that as much. So doing, I mean, A-okay in the mid. He's got 15 last hits. Obviously, Queen of Pain having a little bit of a better time, and now SNA gonna be picking up a double damage rune. Very, very nice to be her.
Double damage.
Wow, I'm pretty surprised though. Queen of Pain against a melee hero and not getting one level into Shadow Strike. Sure, he's got Scorch Earth, but just constantly forcing him to use all his regens. I feel that's pretty big as well. But yeah, this is the really old school Queen of Pain build. And it looks like there's an engagement in the jungles.
Oh yeah, we have a dance
Nothing's-
going on. XCOM though, all they do is take out that Frostbite, doing a lot of work. Disruption now to make sure that they don't get too much damage on him, and a Grave Chill to guarantee that XCOM gets out of there. Arrow flies. XCOM not getting hit by it though. Starstorm gonna be enough, or Starfall, I believe. No, it is Starstorm. I was right the first time. Starstorm gonna be enough damage to finish off that Visage there, and it looks like W does get away, but not without his buddy's life.
Yeah, I mean Starfall is a Dota 1 thing. Dota 1 lingo, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to take a look at WWD though. Do their supports are they carrying TPs yet? So W is already carrying TPs. So that means anytime once Doom hits level 6, pops a Doom on Queen of Pain, I believe you'll definitely see a TP coming out from Shadow Demon.
Oh yeah, and that shouldn't be too far off, honestly. Like Doom, he's just hit level 6. SNA needs to be a little bit careful here, of course. Can't really burst down Alag, not at the moment. And Paris is doing not too bad himself. Looks like Timbersaw actually did find a kill on that bot lane down there against Clockwork. So, I mean, both of those heroes very capable of killing each other. It seems to have just gone Crystal Cross's way. And you can see just how evenly matched those two heroes are, and players for that matter, in the last hits. Timbersaw now
It all comes down to the cogs, really.
completely equal. But yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Those cogs happen to work out or don't work out, I mean, and Timbersaw still has the mana to actually bring on the pain. Clockwork is actually in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, but yeah, once Timbersaw hits level 6, once he has the Chakram, it's pretty darn hard for Clockwork to do much. Wow, but if you look at in terms of last hits, the top 3 heroes are all from the Radiant team. So yeah,
Oh yeah, but I mean,
now we're gonna see another rotation from DGC's supports. They really want to go in, but the creep wave is pushed out too far.
oh, much too far. And like you're saying, the top 3 last hitters are all on WWD, but then you basically need to compare either Enchantress or Mirana, more specifically Enchantress because she's being run more as a support than anything. You need to compare her to either Visage or Shadow Demon, and she has just such a higher amount of farm right there. And while I'm explaining that, looking at Enchantress being a basically big goober with the camera, SNA and W actually pick up a kill against the Doom, and Crystal Cross once again finds one on the Clockwork on the bot lane.
Wow,
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I feel like we're constantly missing out the battle between Timbersaw and Clockwork.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot more action than I was expecting, though, to be honest.
Dire's
Yeah,
middle
same
tower
here. That's
is
the
under
thing, is that I never really expect anything too much to happen in that engagement, in those fights between both of those heroes. But, I mean, there you go. Eat my own words. I'll just have such... I'm just going to keep looking at that mini-map, and whenever anybody touches, I'm going to go look at it. Because this has been a little bit rough, even by my standards.
Wow, yeah, and PO has Midas already. Ooh. Wow, but Queen of Pain's last hits as well, man. Like, he has 52 last hits in 8 minutes. And he's going for an Orchid as well. But things are starting to look a bit difficult for DGC. I think what they need to do is start putting pressure on that top tier 1, get some towers. Oh, and it looks like we're gonna have a hook at mid. Wow, Alec is gonna be in trouble. And there's no TP supports coming whatsoever for him.
Well, I mean, I feel like they just couldn't do anything. They can't really stop the damage right there.
Yeah, because Crystal Maiden and Enchantress, that's why I felt it was a bit of a questionable pickup as the first 2 picks.
Crystal Cross actually in a little bit of trouble on the bot lane. Can always Timber Chain away. Maybe trying to turn it around on W is indeed, but disruption there to maybe save his buddy. Ush now actually in a little bit of trouble as well. It looks like Crystal Cross can't quite find him. Will find W, however, and Ush just not able to actually go in for Crystal Cross and the kill. And while that's happening, it looks like Shad and Alec in the mid finding a kill against the Clockwork who was trying to prevent any sort of reinforcements from getting to this tower.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Wow, but the Queen of Pain isn't chest switching out. Oh wow, the tower.
W getting the disruption, and now SNA running in. Beautiful little scream there, and with the Soul Catcher, that is a huge amount of extra damage being piled on. 40% bonus. That's gotta hurt.
Wow, but that was some amazing timing. Like, he threw the Scream Pain right on time. I mean, sure, like, Sonic Wave is relatively easy to hit, but I feel like that's spot on. Especially like the one against Doom, because you know as soon as that Doom comes out, he knows you're gonna throw out all your damage, so he's gonna Doom you as soon as he can. But he's still got the Sonic Wave as well as the Scream of Pain off. So
oh, yeah,
both teams are playing really well.
Quite nicely. Now it looks like Crystal Cross trying to make something happen onto Ush. We have Phoenix with a Dust of Appearance and Smoked Up hiding in the trees here. So, I mean, if Ush continues to try and push the issue down here, he's going to run into a little bit of trouble. But he does have a buddy. W now backing him up. Still doesn't quite have Demonic Purge. Will be getting it from these creeps. And now it looks like they're trying to turn something around on Crystal Cross. They're not really sure or even know that Phoenix is here, however. So this could go very poorly for them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but it's unlucky that he missed. Oh!
Disruption seems to counter Timber Chain at least a little bit. Now Ush has indeed been dusted, but Crystal Cross incredibly far forward. Is a disruption available anytime soon? It doesn't look like it. He can always TP out of this, still opting not to. While that's happening, Clockwork picks off Crystal, and it looks like Doom finding a Visage in the mid solo kill right there. So, I mean, a tit for tat, support for support. Looks like Doom getting it just solo, however, comparatively to these big TPs coming out from WwD. Meaning that really that engagement's probably a little bit in favor of DGC just because they still have all of their heroes farming around the map.
Yeah, on top of that, Doom is really close to his mech as well. And hopefully with that mech, they'll be able to start getting the push strat going and force out a bit more from Team WWD. Because right now I feel Phantom Lancer is getting way too much.
Oh yeah, PL has been, he's got his Midas, he hasn't been harassed with it at all, and he's actually getting a very early Vlad's of all things. Kind of an odd pickup in my eyes, but I suppose wanting to give his team a little bit more resiliency, a little bit more ability to go in and maybe take a few towers.
Yeah, I guess it's an alternative to Tranquil Boots, since like the new Tranquil Boots really just doesn't work well with heroes like Phantom Lancer. It just gives you a little bit more sustainability, and you can just stay around. So you don't have to be like, oh yeah, Timorous will just harass me and have to go back to base. Having that Vlad's allows him to go jungle early as well. Seeing that he has 2 levels in Juxtapose and 1 level in Phantom Edge.
Oh yeah, and then it looks like him and his Shadow Demon buddy just trying to polish up this tower bot, but wisely only using the illusions to do so with pretty much the entirety of DGC now down here. Looks like they're going to go in for a push, try and take down this early tier, or I shouldn't say early, but this tier 1 tower, which of course opens the jungle wide open for them to roam and explore and really deny PL pretty much any farm he would hope to get from there.
Wow. See, like with the Vlads, as you can see, like PL is just jungling.
Under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I think it was a bit of a misplay from Shadow
Radiant's
Demon.
bottom tower
He disrupted himself, or maybe he wanted to use illusions to deny the tower. And like we talked about, there's always going to be a trade going on around the map, especially when you're pushing with towers. The other team will always try to respond with a tower of their own. If not, then they will defend the tower being pushed.
Oh yeah, now Ush needs to be a little careful here, of course. Doom always available, and it's not like he's got a lot of HP at the moment. Crystal Nova being just cast there, try and get him down a little bit, and it looks like they want to continue this push going on. While that's happening, you do have SNA up top pushing in her own right. Now is going to be TPing down into the base to provide a little bit of anti-push, maybe a scream into these fights. Finishes off her Orchid as well, so now Timbersaw very, very scared of actually falling, not to mention Mirana as well. Things could go very badly if one of those gets Orchid.
Oh. Yeah, just now though, when Timbersaw forced them down this edge, he can just leave the Chalcon right there, and it'll be hard for WwD to jump in. It'll break the engagement into two parts.
Oh yeah, and now Crystal Cross going to be sending this all the way home, cutting through a bunch of trees. That's quite a few trees he got there. And now it looks like Alec needs to be a little bit careful here. Clockwork, Magic Mike, IX Mike, trying his best to get a hook in there and see if he can't make something happen. But Alec instead opts to go home, and we actually haven't looked at the gold graph at all, or the experience graph. So let's give those a little looky-loo this time around. WwD actually leading in gold by not quite 2K, so I mean pretty minimal by now. And experience-wise, sub 2,000 in that way as well. So I mean, this is still anybody's game. Nobody with a clear advantage at the moment.
Yeah, but you gotta remember there's a Doom on DGC, and if you have a Doom and you're actually losing in terms of gold, that means you are not really doing that well. I think this is actually the prime time for DGC to fight and find fights before that Clockwork gets his mech. Just having that AoE heal will help your teammates a lot more. And also, like, Timbersaw, this pretty much is where he does the most amount of damage. Maybe just that one more level in the Whirling Death. And sure, the Crystal Cross on the Timbersaw is going to be able to do a lot in the late game. But then you gotta remember he's up against a Phantom Lancer.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be, of course, if PL gets that defusal, as he always does, and gets enough illusions attacking Timber before anything can really be said or done. I mean, he's not really going to even have the mana to get away or help, and now it looks like DGC scouting out the Roche, seeing if anybody was there, realizing that WwD wasn't, and deciding that they could take it themselves. Well, that's the case, of course, is now scouted out with the familiar birds. You always have IX Mike waiting in the wings with a hook shot, see if they can't get it. SNA eats a big arrow, but Disruption, it was a bait indeed. No cogs, however, to split up this push. Big scream on 4 or 5. The mech now doing a lot of work. It looks like this Clockwork has not quite finished his now, and now Crystal Cross doing heaps of damage, like you said. Now W going tit for tat with Perez. It's gonna be Perez along with an arrow to finish him off. Crystal Cross just loving those familiars, getting so much HP regen and armor out of them. And PL able to get out of there alive, SNA as well. So, I mean, still, that going pretty heavily in favor of DGC there, and it looks like they might want to try and go finish off this Roshan. Not sure if they can actually do it without a tanky hero like Timber or Doom, though.
Yeah, I was happy to see them make that engagement, because I guess they thought the same thing I did. They knew they had the mech. That was the edge over WWD during that fight. Yeah, so overall, it was great.
And SNA being really ballsy, but the impetus.
Holy crap.
Oh, clutch disruption to save him. Perez now in a heap of trouble as well. Where are the cogs to split everybody up? Soul Assumption now to take down Shad, a peg or two. Hook shot available in 1 second. Does indeed land it. There's no leaping out of this one, just within tower range, however. So IX Mike has to be very careful here. In runs Crystal Cross. Can polish him off with the Chakram. And now it looks like W trying to continue it going on. SNA trying to finish it off with a Soul Assumption with Soul Catcher. Going to be far too much damage for this Timber to handle.
Oh yeah, I guess I just thought of it now. I don't know why, but The reason why they picked Enchantress first pick was because WwD picked up Visage, and the impetus do pure damage, so they pretty much two-shot the Familiars.
That makes sense, and I mean, WwD still doing pretty nicely. These gold graphs should be still fairly equal. I mean, 2,500 this late is not too drastic, and actually, funnily enough, DGC now has ramped up the experience graph to be in their favor, oddly enough. But I mean, this is a lot of space created for Ush, and I think the later and later this game goes, just the stronger overall Wild Witch Doctors, their lineup is going to become just because of PL.
Yeah, I mean, Ush, he's a pretty good carry player. As we see, like, both games, he has roughly 140 plus last hits within 20 minutes. So that's always great when you're a carry player. I mean, anything above 100 is considered, like, not bad in the current patch, like, seeing how much action goes on. But after all, like, WWD has always been playing 4 Protect 1, just ensuring that the carry gets the maximum amount of farm. And if DGC pays close attention and decide to play Tricore, and always run an aggressive tri lane and shut down that one carry. I mean, if you trade one carry for a carry, that means the other two carries are most likely going to have the upper hand. So, I guess if DGC in the next game, they notice this, hopefully they did their studies and will be able to react to these kind of 4 Protect 1 strats.
Because Team Wild Witch Doctors has just been doing that terrifically, and not only that, I mean, SNA, he's been able to get a huge amount of farm, and now he's actually blinking in the trees, always trying to be as sneaky as possible, and he's trying to set something up against Shad. Still 0 points in Shadow Strike, actually, of all things, and now goes in, gets the Scream and the Orchid off. It looks like Shad will fall, but Al Edge is here. He's got a Doom off on him, and so that's a straight 1-for-1 trade now. Not sure exactly who that favors. Probably DGC, simply because they had more heroes around for that experience.
I feel it's actually in favor of Team WWD, because once again, you're forcing our action on other parts of the map, and Ush is just free farming. When your PO is free farming, I feel like you always have the upper hand.
Oh yeah, that is true, and I mean, yeah, space created, definitely for this PL. That Midas has been it's been online for 12 minutes now. It's more than paid for itself, I'm sure, and overall, he's just doing terrifically. He has his Diffusal up, he should be hitting. What do you think he's got coming his way now? Just getting a TP,
and
actually,
Clockwork
but
gets a hook on
should
Crystal
get a
Maiden.
Manta going on. Oh yeah, Crystal Maiden melting immediately. Crystal Cross now all over this. There's the dust available. Disruption not doing too much. Shad in the background, however. Aledge is here, gets a nice stun onto W. Looks like IX Mike only gets a cogs off, but is not able to quite get out there. And the rest of Wild Witch Doctors just getting cleaned up by DGC right there.
But this is pretty much the same scenario, or actually not as bad compared to the one WWD played against the Now Esports. If you look, WWD, yes, 3 of the heroes died, but the 2 core heroes are still active and alive on the map. I mean, 21 minutes, Queen of Pain has 6 kills, 1 death, 4 assists with 130 last hits. He's not too far off the Lincolns as well. It's definitely going to come before the 30-minute mark if he continues to get kills and farm at this rate. And right now he's just scouting out to see if there are any other players around the map. And if not, he's probably going to blink in and make a go on Shad. And with that one Familiar just helping him land the stun. But yeah, DGC, they're aware of it, so they're rotating their heroes top. Once again, whenever they make these types of rotation, Ush is just happily farming away. And now he even has a boost of travels, and he still has 1,300 gold.
Oh yeah, now making his way to, I mean, he's got his Blade of Alacrity. That's probably going to be the start of a Manta, I assume. Get that Yash out and get even faster. And with the Boots of Travels, and the fact that DGC doesn't have too much guaranteed stun, what have you. I mean, PL should be doing A-okay there. It's like Queen of Pain once again finding Shad very easily, the Orchid, and just guaranteeing that kill. And Perez not able to actually help his friend there.
Yeah, Queen of Pain at this stage just dishes out way too much, and Mirana notices that, probably gonna go for BKB at this rate. Otherwise, simply just not sustainable. But when you're Mirana as a carry role, can't get damage items, forced to get BKB, I just have to question, like, what are they gonna do, you know?
And now stopping this push in the mid pretty handedly, I have to say. Clockwork with some nice cogs. Constant shadow poisons being thrown out from Shadow Demon. And now it looks like we have a nice hook onto Crystal Cross.
Beautiful.
Can still Timber Chain away though. Battery Assault not fast enough to actually stop that from happening. And cogs now guaranteeing that this is the end of that chase right there. Looks like SNA
Not only
constantly
that,
up
they
top as well.
canceled the TP. Yeah, because they wanted to TP bottom to defend the tower against Archie's push. But then,
Now Crystal Cross
Clockwork's
though
hook just...
is in a heap of trouble in the mid,
He
but
should
looks like
be fine.
he's still gonna get out of here though. And now Sna,
And at top, oh,
has been doomed. There's
Will
no
match
coming out of
catch.
this one. He's been doomed. There's no way he can get out, and that's the end of that one. It now looks like Shad getting chased down, almost feeding a courier to Ush right now, but not quite. And Ush has basically gotten to the point of where he's very, very terrifying. And you know what? They just haven't ganked him really all game. He's still only sitting at 900 HP.
Oh yeah, and I also have to mention DGC. They have my favorite courier in the game, also the best courier. Yeah, Tinkbot. I'm hoping to see a Tinker next game.
Well, I think it just all depends, obviously, on what's gonna happen. And now it looks like we got IX Mike trying to set something up. He's got hooks, he's got cogs. They actually do see him though, but he's just gotten out of range. There's the dust, and now it looks like this might be a complete and utter feed by IX Mike. Actually can't cog to his buddy. Now W needs to be careful of this impetus. Looks like a nice body block out of XCOM, but a disruption to save his life. Trying to make sure that Perez can't continue to throw down those impetuses. Doesn't seem to matter. Now XCOM able to just get out of there as well. Sna, SNA, waiting and teleporting in, but nobody is there anymore to get screamed at. And Ush, once again, just going around the map and continuing to farm like a good PL should. And he's soon enough going to become incredibly scary.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that they missed the tower deny for Team DGC. Mirana was expecting Doom to help him deny, but Doom went and attacked the Glaive Thrower, so... Or the Catapult, yeah.
And I mean, one thing that's pretty telling right now of how this game is going is, I mean, if we look at the gold graph, WwD is leading that quite nicely, sitting at about 7,000 to 8,000 about 7,000 in favor of them. And like you were saying, if you have a Doom on the opposing team and you're leading in the gold, it means you're doing something quite well. And you combine that with the fact that we're sitting at 13 kills for WWE, 16 for DGC, but that's pretty much without PL ever being in a team fight. He's never really helped to any extreme case, and with the scores still looking like that, with basically PL having the ability and option to free farm the entire game, I can't help but feel that DGC is just gonna fall off fairly soon in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, wow, Pierre already has Manta style as well, on top of all his items. So yeah, once a PL does decide to join the fight, it's gonna be rough.
Oh, exactly.
Like, okay, what does DGC have to deal with the PL Illusion Army? Well, I guess Timbersaw is pretty good. The Chakram.
Yeah, you got Timbersaw and you got Crystal Maiden ult. Like, that's it. Maybe a Starstorm, obviously. Big Arrow actually does hit XCOM, but a Disruption to try and save his buddy's life. Can XCOM actually get out of here? Nice force staffing them away as well. A mech being used to guarantee it. And with that, it looks like they're just not sure where exactly to go. Perez now falling to SNA very quickly. Cogs aren't available right now. Not quite to get Alledge. And it looks like that Mirana ult actually not providing them too much of a blanket of invisibility to really get away. Alledge now. Don't see how he's getting out of this one alive. Does have a Blink Dagger getting canceled in the last seconds, so he is going to be falling here. Pretty much guaranteed as well. And while that's happening, Ush, once again, not even in that fight. Just continuing to farm and push now as well.
Yeah, I have figured out a way they can deal with the PL. Because they have a magical hero called Enchantress. And you just dominate one of those illusions and hope it'll replicate like mad.
Oh, that is true. Once again, Shad having a tough time. Sna
Nice arrow.
Can't quite get the blink off in time, and instead eats an arrow to the face. So Shad now also evading that last little rocket flare coming out of Clockwork, and now it looks like we actually have the game being paused. Not sure exactly what's going on, but nonetheless, during this little pause break of where SD is spiking, I'd like to mention that once our tournament ticket does come out, or as far as I know, it's going to have a nice courier in it. You should check it out. Probably get it. Hopefully the courier is going to be pretty nice. Maybe a bit nicer than Saturday.
I bet I know why though. They want to take a look at Na'Vi versus Alliance.
Oh, the Star Ladder?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. And just look at Ush's last hits, man. I mean, he's actually never been with his teammates this entire game. He almost doesn't even know that they exist right now. And he's getting closer and closer to becoming 6 slotted. And at only 28 minutes, he's got 260 last hits. It is just ridiculous how fast this PL is farming. While that's happening, we have an engagement in the mid, however. It looks like a tower does indeed fall. XCOM can't quite die fast enough. SNA, though, looks like he is going to be able to get out of there. XCOM will eventually fall. Perez trying to lead the charge. Phoenix does get a nice ult off, but, I mean, only one for a tower, not the end of the world. And PL's actually pushing into the tier 3 with his illusion army. Pops the Manta now, and he doesn't even need to be here to take down this tower.
Yeah, and Queen of Pain's pushing top as well, so they have 2 core heroes constantly split pushing and just having their teammates buy the necessary time. Oh man.
In the mid, looks like IX Mike in a heap of trouble. Should be able to finish him off. Disruption there to try and save his life, at the very least stall it down a little bit. Looks like Perez wants one more impetus, and IX Mike getting out of here actually with his life. Shad needs to be a little bit careful. Does indeed know that Queen of Pain is top, or was. Let me eat my own words, and Alleged has gotten an easy kill on that one using the Doom there. And now it looks like Perez still obviously in vision. IX Mike never wanted to quite leave, and it looks like Ush finally making an appearance in these team fights, getting closer and just very close to a heart. And now it looks like the final pushes are going to start up. And once this PL finally does get his heart, you know, in, what are we sitting at, 1,500 gold from now or so? 1,600, 1,700? I mean, they won't even be able to deal with his illusions, and if WWE just wants to slow siege this game and starve out the opposition, I mean, they're easily going to be able to do it.
Yeah, the MVP for me this game so far though has been W, playing that Shadow Demon. I don't know how many times he saved his teammates with that disruption. Wow, those defensive disruptions have been crazy, man. Like, so many times you see those imps fly out and you're like, yeah, this hero's dead, and then boom, disrupt. Or like anything happens, disrupt, disrupt, disrupt. And later on, this is going to become a really potent pushing ability as well. You're going to have, what, okay, so PL can generate 4 additional illusions. Spirit Lance, Doppel Walk, 2 Manta illusions, and you get, so eventually, you're going to have 6 illusions sieging towers at any one point.
I mean, and that's not even counting the ones that he can make from simply juxtapose, right? Which you have 8 right there, so I mean, PL should be able to generate 12 if need be, and I mean, if Shadow Demon does get some nice juxtapose illusions of his own, we could be seeing 20 plus PLs in this game.
Yeah, and then you have Enchantress just taking control of one of the illusions and turning it around.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you end up with 2 PL armies. Pretty fun.
Could be seeing 30 or so of them. Would like to see that. And right now, I mean, if we're looking around right now, W using that Shadow Poison, try and de-ward. He's got a gem. He's really trying to limit exactly where DGC feels comfortable excuse me, in this map. And, I mean, he's doing quite nicely there. Now it looks like Crystal Cross has found XCOM.
That's a heart.
Can't do too much about it. And PL now has indeed finished off that heart. Looks like he's got all the stacks he could ever want in those Ancients. And now, would not be surprised if the final push starts to come in. Or at the very least, the final siege.
Yeah, he doesn't need to farm anymore. Maybe a Diffusal too, and then sell Midas, get a Butterfly. That's about it. Yeah, but if this game can go on for another, I don't know, 30 plus minutes, and have all of the DGC heroes farm up, especially a 6-slot Doom, then yeah, they can still take this later on.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Oh yeah, I think so. Now, Crystal Cross looks like it's just Timber Chain in a way. SNA probably not going to be able to catch him. Timber Chain with such a low cooldown, and of course can always just TP. While that's happening, looks like Mirana Shad indeed looking for any long-range arrows. XCOM a little bit too interested in the creeps to run into that one. Shad, though, has found him. Instead, wants to make something happen. Does get stunned by the familiars, however, and the rest of DGC trying to stream into the jungle and make something happen. But you just have Ush. You can't possibly commit this many heroes to somebody who isn't this PL. And now, I mean, it just seems like PL is unstoppable.
Yeah, is he playing PL or is he playing like another Nagasara, man? It's like watching a replay of the second game that we watched WwD
Arrow
play.
flies, actually lands on SNA. Aleg gets the Doom off as well. SNA gonna be completely out of this fight. XCOM here to help his buddy, however, and the Cogs guaranteeing as well as the disruption that SNA might actually live through this. Soul Assumption, Aleg almost falling. SNA looks like he might have lived unless Perez finds him with those impetuses, which he has. And now, with all of that going on, Aleg barely able to make it out of there. Can't quite even do it with that rocket flare going his way. XCOM now trying to go right onto Perez, the resummon, trying to get as many stuns and damage as he possibly can. The familiars now helping whoever he can. Crystal Cross is here, gets disrupted, can't do too much. SNA does not want to get out of here, and instead, oh, that's right, Orchid does not stop Shiva, and now, of course, we have IX Mike coming in, reclaiming that gem for W. Or no, that W still has his gem. While that's happening, though, Ush has taken the melee bot rack, so I mean, once again, just never being in these team fights, never having to be, and still making a lot of work happen across this map.
Yep, and PL Illusion War at the Rex. Can you tell if they're Radiant or Dire illusions?
I can't. I'm not really
That's right,
sure.
you can't.
Well, I guess I can. They're Dire. They're
There's a-
attacking the Radiant. I got it. But no, just from the mini-map, I can't really tell. And now we actually have a Lincoln's up on SNA, making sure to give it to W so that nothing really befalls him. Arrow flies, doesn't seem to land on anybody, and Perez now is going to be able to impetus this Shadow Demon for quite a bit of damage, plus 200 pure right there. W still running for his life. If he sees an arrow or an impetus coming, would not be surprised to see a disruption. And now getting chased. Oh, the arrow going the opposite direction, but Chakram by Crystal Cross is there to clean it up. And now Ush has found Crystal Cross. Looks like Murano has been cast as well, just to make sure he gets out of there. While that's happening, SNA once again being doomed by a leg, and we actually have Perez streaming down after him. Not sure if a leg can actually catch up to him right now, and doesn't have a Centaur stun available.
Blink Dagger.
He's got a Blink Centaur into this, but it looks like Perez has gotten here just in time with the slow to guarantee that SNA is not getting out of that one alive.
I felt bad for SD though. I thought, well, his gem of Scotty was pretty cool, but well, he drops him.
That looks like Crystal Cross and IX Mike once again having a little bit of a row in the jungle. It looks like these two always fated and destined to meet. Phoenix now coming in, but XCOM right there as well, and giving a target for IX Mike to get out of his cogs from. Doesn't matter though, a leg with a huge level doom. Once again, XCOM in a heap of trouble, and now, when I thought victory was assured because of this incredibly farmed PL, which I mean, still having a very good time in these lanes, WWE seems to be falling apart a little bit, just getting picked off tremendously, and now a leg gets a stun on Ush. Can he just man fight this? And indeed he will. And he actually has a butterfly now, almost nothing they can do about it. While that's happening, Ush will be able to get out of here scot-free. The rest of DGC finding a pick-off in Shadow Demon in the mid, maybe finally able to get that tier 1. Looks like Ush turns around, tries to turn the man fight back onto him, and Crystal Cross has almost caught him out entirely. Does indeed send the little illusion back. Crystal Cross just can't quite find him, and it looks like he is going to be able to get out of there alive.
Yeah, PL is pretty much maxed out. The next step is probably to just sell the Vlads and, I don't know, Assault Koreas perhaps?
I don't know. He's just, I mean, he's so strong right now. You basically need to dedicate 3 or more heroes to really taking him out, and if he continues to basically just split push and make sure that the rest of his team, the 4 other heroes in it, do their own thing, try and find their own pickoffs, then, I mean, I think that alone will bring success for Wild Witch Doctors right now. And as we can see, it's clearly done that. They've got 1.5 lanes of racks down, so I mean, going not too badly for them right now. It just seems like DGC can't find any way to pull this back.
Yep, and if you look at the goal graph, it's pretty steep. But at the same time, it's kind of funny, you know. Like this is one of those games where DGC they're ahead in terms of kill, but it's because they play WwD is playing a 4 Protect 1. Um, this game kind of not quite, but it does remind me of a 6.67C type of game, where like a team with the later carry will always be like with fewer amount of kills, but you know they're ahead. If you look at the scoreboard, it always feels like they're behind. But as soon as you look at what the heroes are and what items they have, then you realize, hey, that's not the case.
Oh yeah, and I mean now, it seems like the long siege and the last siege seems to be really easy and capable for Wild Witch Doctors to pull it out right now. All they need to do is let the lanes push in, use these illusions. They don't even really need to commit this high or this many heroes to the high ground to make this thing happen. And of course you have Ush, breaks off up top to get to the melee racks, and he's just going to guarantee that at least that one falls. XCOM getting frostbitten. It doesn't look like anybody quite falling, just too much coming out. Queen of Pain finally does find a Timbersaw. Now Ush trying to go in, man fight this Doom. A nice ult from Phoenix to take care of those illusions. Looks like Alec can't quite do too much in this fight right now, and then a disruption on the PL illusions. There he is, finally does get a Doom off on him, so that evasion is gone. A Frostbite as well. The Impetus is the only thing that can take him out, which indeed they do. Instantly buyback, TP's right back into the fight, and this has got to be a GG, and yes indeed it will be. There is no buyback coming out of DGC right now. It looks like Enchantress can't quite make it back home. Shad neither as well. Timbersaw finally does show up, can maybe take out these illusions, doesn't really matter, it looks like. And with that, there should be some Mega Creeps coming out fairly shortly, just trying to see if Sna will actually fall. He will indeed, but it was all a bait maybe. W has now shown up, throws an arrow, mistimes it ever so slightly. SNA is here trying to finish off Shad, does indeed. Looks like Crystal Cross now really wants to get W. Does have Dreamcatcher available to make sure if he did die, that at the very least Crystal Cross will, and there's the GG finally coming out of Shad. So with that, Wild Witch Doctor is going to be picking up the first win of this best of 3 for $100 and many league points. 35 or some such, I think, if you go all the way to the tippity top. Maybe not that much because there haven't been that many rounds, but many rounds nonetheless. So there you have it, everybody. This has been the first final game of the first weekly ESPL series. And I'll give my co-caster Mito a little chance to talk now. What's up, buddy? I just ran away there at the end.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for the support. And I just want to mention to everyone that ESPL Weekly Series 2 is up for signups. The status is already open, so please feel free to take a look at it, and hopefully we'll see you next game.
Yeah, see you next game, guys. Hopefully the wait will not be as